Never get angry again. Master emotional control with Stoic power. Stoic bloom. What if you could walk through insults, criticism, and chaos and feel nothing but calm? Imagine mastering a mindset so strong no one could disturb your peace. Not even that one person who knows exactly how to push your buttons. And what if I told you that the secret to this power isn't modern therapy or self-help trends, but a 2,000-year-old Stoic philosophy that helped emperors remain unshaken? Let's uncover how the greatest minds in history eliminated anger, and how you can too. Part 1. The real origin of anger. Let's start with a hard truth. No one can make you angry. Not your rude coworker, not your ex, not even the person who cut you off in traffic and gave you that look. They may trigger you, but the anger? That's yours. And as the Stoics taught, what's yours is within your control. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Anger doesn't begin outside, it starts in how we interpret the world. We see disrespect, we assign meaning to it, and then we react. But what if we could pause between stimulus and response and choose something different? The Stoics believe that emotions are judgments. If you can change your judgment, you change your emotional state. That means anger isn't a reflex, it's a decision. You might not choose to feel it at first, but you absolutely choose to keep it. Take a rude comment. Most people react like it's a dagger, but a Stoic sees it as a mirror, reflecting the speaker's own pain or ignorance, not an attack worth absorbing. When you internalize this, anger loses its grip. Instead of saying, that person made me mad, you ask, is this worth trading my peace for? 9 times out of 10, the answer is a quiet, liberating no. And that's when the shift happens. You stop being controlled by moods. You start mastering your own. And if you're nodding right now like a philosopher who just let go of their last grudge, pause. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom. Share this with someone who turns red over spilled coffee. And if you've ever wanted to respond to rage with a smile, drop a comment that says, I choose peace, Stoic Bloom. Your calm is your crown. Never let anger steal it. Part 2, the power perspective. Imagine this. You're watching 2 strangers argue in a parking lot. Voices rise, hands flail, accusations fly. But you're just sipping your coffee, observing it all like a documentary. You're calm, detached, because it's not your drama. Now here's the Stoic twist. What if you could observe your own life with the same detachment? Seneca advised us to judge events like an impartial observer, to step outside our emotions and simply watch. That's not detachment out of coldness. It's clarity born from wisdom. Because most of the time, we don't get angry at what's happening. We get angry because we believe, this shouldn't be happening to me. But when you remove the to me part, you remove the emotional charge. It becomes just an event, one of many in the stream of life. The Stoics often practice this by asking, will this matter a week from now? A year? At the end of my life? Usually the answer is no. What feels huge in the moment will shrink in time. Perspective collapses problems. Think about your last big argument. It probably felt urgent, even apocalyptic. But now it's just dust in your memory. When you zoom out, when you widen the lens, your inner storm settles. The person who cut in line, they're not a villain. They're a tired, distracted human like you. The negative comment online, it's just pixels on a screen, not a sword. Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. That's not denial, that's discipline. It's seeing the same scene but choosing the higher angle. Perspective gives you the power to turn offense into observation, to turn irritation into indifference, to reclaim your mind when the world tries to take it. And the more you train this habit, the less the world can rattle you. You become the calm center in a spinning storm. Part 3. Train yourself through voluntary discomfort. Most people try to avoid discomfort at all costs. Cold weather? Crank the heat. Empty stomach? Grab a snack. Minor inconvenience? Instant frustration. But here's a Stoic truth few are willing to hear. The more comfort you chase, the weaker your resilience becomes. The ancient Stoics knew this well. Epictetus taught that true peace isn't found in luxury, but in strength. And strength is forged in discomfort, not ease. That's why they practiced voluntary hardship, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they knew that choosing discomfort in small things made them unshakable when real storms arrived. Try this. Fast for a day, sleep without a pillow. Take a cold shower, walk instead of drive. Go without your phone for 24 hours. Yes, that counts. It sounds small, but each act sends a message to your mind. I am not ruled by comfort. I am stronger than my cravings. I can endure. And when life inevitably throws you an insult, an inconvenience, or a delay, your mind won't panic. It's been here before. It's ready. You've trained it to respond, not react. Discomfort becomes your dojo, your training ground for composure. Where others crumble at the first sign of hardship, you'll remain calm, not because you're lucky, but because you're prepared. Seneca once wrote, "Woe aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared?" This exercise wasn't for bragging, it was for liberation. The less you need, the freer you become. The more you endure by choice, the less life can hurt you by surprise. If you're nodding while wrapped in a warm blanket, sipping coffee, no judgment. But maybe try switching that coffee for water tomorrow. And while you're at it, subscribe to Stoic Bloom. Share this video with someone who screams when the Wi-Fi drops. Or leave a comment, "I'm training in discomfort." We'll know exactly what that means. Stoic Bloom. Embrace discomfort now, laugh at adversity later. Part 4. Mastering emotional detachment. Let's imagine this. You had a plan, you worked for it, waited patiently, but then things didn't go your way. Someone dropped the ball, someone said the wrong thing, a result you hoped for just slipped through your fingers. And just like that, frustration bubbles up. Why? Because you were attached to an outcome, a response, a result. Anger often disguises itself as disappointment, but underneath, it's attachment. The Stoics saw this clearly. The tighter you cling to how things should be, the more you suffer when they're not. But here's the good news. You can detach without becoming indifferent. You can care deeply, but not cling. This is emotional detachment. It's not apathy, it's not giving up. It's doing your best, then releasing the rest. Epictetus framed it perfectly. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. In other words, control your effort, not the outcome. Control your response, not the result. Imagine tending a garden. You water, you weed, you nurture the soil. But the weather, the insects, the harvest, that's not up to you. It's the same with life. When you release the illusion of control over everything, you regain control over something far more valuable. Your peace. Here's a mantra you can practice. It is what it is. Not as an excuse, but as an acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you stop suffering over what's beyond you. The Stoics were warriors of the internal world. They fought not people, but false expectations. They learned to let go, not because they were weak, but because they were wise. So next time plans fall apart, someone lets you down, or the universe seems unfair, pause, breathe, and remember, your effort was yours. The rest was never promised. Emotional detachment is not about being cold. It's about staying warm without burning yourself on the fire of unrealistic expectations. Part 5, the art of not taking things personally. Here's something they don't teach in school. Most of what people say or do has very little to do with you and everything to do with them. Someone insults you? They're probably battling their own frustrations. Someone ignores you? Maybe they're drowning in anxiety. Someone betrays you? That's their flaw, not your failure. Yet, what do we often do? We personalize. We turn someone else's storm into our own thundercloud. The Stoics had a different view. Don't take it personally, not because you don't matter, but because their behavior isn't about you. When someone lashes out, it's usually because they haven't yet learned to tame their own emotions. You, on the other hand, are learning to master yours. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And it's true, we imagine hidden meanings, secret grudges, subtle jabs, when most of the time people are just reacting to their own invisible wounds. Here's a simple shift. When someone acts poorly, don't get angry. Get curious. What pain are they carrying that made them act this way? It's not forgiveness out of pity, it's understanding born from strength. When you stop personalizing others' behavior, you become immune to manipulation. You don't chase apologies. You don't seek revenge. You simply stay still. Imagine walking through a marketplace. Someone yells, someone bumps into you, someone accuses you. The Stoic doesn't flinch. He smiles inwardly, knowing they're playing their part, I'll play mine. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything personally, you begin living impersonally, and therefore powerfully. Now, if someone's ever ruined your day with just a sentence, maybe it's time to flip the script. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom. Share this video with someone who absorbs every comment like a sponge. Or comment "not mine" below, because from this point on, every insult that isn't rooted in truth, it belongs to them, not to you, Stoic Bloom. You are not their mirror. You are your own clarity. Part 6, the power of pausing before reacting. Have you ever said something in anger and regretted it 5 minutes later? Or reacted on impulse only to think, why didn't I just pause? The Stoics believe that between stimulus and response, there exists a moment, and within that moment lies your freedom. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but one of the most profound tools for emotional mastery is this: the pause. When something triggers you, be it an insult, a disappointment, a delay, your first reaction is usually emotional. That's your primitive brain preparing to fight, flee, or freeze. But you're not here to be primitive. You're here to be principled. That's where the pause comes in. A single breath, a blink, a slight delay, just enough space to let your reason step in before rage takes over. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." The pause gives you that power to revoke the automatic interpretation. Try this in practice. Next time something irritates you, don't respond right away. Take a deep breath, count to 5, ask yourself, what's actually happening? Is this worth my energy? What would my highest self do? You'll be surprised how often the answer is, let it go. And if you can't walk away, walk inward. Walk to that still part of you that chooses who you become in every response. This isn't passivity, it's power under control. It's the kind of strength that's quiet but unmistakable. The world loves urgency. React fast, respond now, fire back immediately. But the Stoic walks slower, listens longer, speaks last, because they know a moment of patience can prevent a lifetime of regret. The person who pauses is not weak. They're sharpening their sword, not to attack, but to protect peace. Part 7. Practice negative visualization. What if you could prepare for disappointment and never be caught off guard again? That's not pessimism. That's premeditatio malorum, the Stoic practice of negative visualization. It means imagining what could go wrong, not to scare yourself, but to strengthen yourself. Seneca advised his students to mentally rehearse adversity. What if my plans fall through? What if someone betrays me? What if today doesn't go how I want? Why? Because when you expect the wind, you brace your sails. When the storm comes, you're not surprised, you're ready. Imagine walking into a meeting expecting praise and getting criticized instead. That stings. But if you had prepared for both outcomes, calmly said to yourself, they may not like what I say, you take that feedback with grace, not resentment. Negative visualization isn't being morbid, it's being mentally armored. Marcus Aurelius wrote, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty. He didn't say that to become bitter. He said it to become bulletproof. Try it. Before your next big moment, visualize what might go wrong, not to dwell there, but to make peace with it, to remind yourself, even if it does, I'll still be me. I'll still respond with reason. Because when you've rehearsed the worst, it no longer has power over you. You stop being shocked. You stop overreacting. You start living prepared, not paranoid. It's like wearing a philosophical raincoat. The weather doesn't change, but you don't get soaked anymore. If this insight made something click, maybe it's time to pack your Stoic umbrella. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom for more daily armory. Share this video with someone who panics every time plans change. Or drop a comment below. I visualize worse. That's not fear, that's foresight. Stoic Bloom. Expect less. Prepare more. React never. Part 8. Final reflection. If there's one truth that echoes through every Stoic teaching, it's this. You cannot control the world, but you can control your mind. Anger is not power, it's a sign of losing control. And the person who is easily provoked is easily conquered. But the one who remains still in the face of insult, betrayal, and chaos, that person commands silent respect and unshakable inner peace. We've explored how to dismantle anger, not by suppressing it, but by understanding its root, by shifting your perception, by training through discomfort, by detaching from outcomes, by seeing others' actions as reflections of their inner world, not your worth. These aren't just concepts, they are practices, daily, deliberate, devoted. Because the real battlefield isn't out there in traffic or in arguments or in online comments, it's inside you. And every moment you choose calm over chaos, patience over pride, understanding over offense, you win a quiet war. A war no one sees, but one that builds the strongest form of self. So now, if you've found clarity in these words, if something inside you stirred, don't let it fade. Take a simple, intentional action. Subscribe to Stoic Bloom and walk with a community that values stillness over noise. Share this with someone who's tired of being emotionally hijacked. Like the video if it gave you perspective. Comment below with the moment that spoke to your soul. Every step you take toward emotional freedom is a rebellion against everything that weakens you. You're not here to react. You're here to respond. You're not here to be liked. You're here to live rightly. And we're honored to walk this path with you. Stoic Bloom. Stillness is strength. Choose it daily.